Hey, what's going on, guys? This is your host, Jay, and you're watching another episode right here in our studios from Inside Out. Thank you guys so much for being here. I appreciate it. And as always, as you guys can see in the title description on the screen there, we are doing a special podcast, as you guys know. And I've been looking forward to this for quite some time now, and I'm glad you're all here to be a part of it. And I'm also hoping that some of you prison moms out there will find some of this information and answers to these questions beneficial for you guys in some way or fashion. All right, so let's go ahead and introduce everybody in the chat real quick before we get started. Our good friend Bert's in here. He says, ding, ding. Yeah, absolutely. And then, of course, we have our good friend and co-host Tammy in here. She says, hi, everyone. Love, light, and to all. Absolutely. And, of course, now, ladies and gentlemen, we have, and it's been a while, due to health reasons and everything, we got Cynthia in here now. Welcome back, Cynthia. It's good to see you, and I hope you're doing okay with everything that's happened to you and all of that. So, again, thank you so much for being here. And we got Texas Mom. She says, hello, lovelies. And then we got Vicky. Hey, Vicky, how you doing? Thank you so much for being here and all of that. And before I go any further, let's go ahead and introduce our co-host, Tammy, to the show. Welcome, Tammy. How you doing?
Hi, everyone. I'm doing well. How are you guys doing?
Well, again, as you can see, we made it to a Wednesday. we're hanging in there, and fighting another good day, as you can see. And I appreciate you being here and helping with this podcast.
Well, we're all family here. I gotta say something. I gotta give a big shout out to a couple people, but I love all of you first of all. But Cynthia, I am so very tickled and excited that you're here and you're doing well. We love you very much.
Yeah, I'm glad Cynthia's in here because we were definitely worried about her for a while. As you guys know, I don't know if I am allowed to say what happened, but she had some medical issues, major, severe medical issues, and we almost, I thought we were going to lose her. But nonetheless, Cynthia, thank you so much, and I hope the prayers that we've all sent out to you have been answered. But thank you so much for being in here. Absolutely. And she says, I'm still recovering, but doing much better now, she said. All right. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and kick this off. And let's get our special guest in here, the one that is my rock, my foundation, my everything. Ladies and gentlemen, please, let's welcome my wife, Wendy, to the show. There she is. Say hi, everybody, and say hi, Wendy.
Hello. How's everybody?
Hi, Wendy. So glad to meet you. I love it that you're on the show. We welcome you with open arms. Yes. And I know there's a bunch of women in here that have some questions here in a little bit. I want to speak on something real quick. There was a really ugly thing that happened to both Wendy and Jay yesterday. Was it yesterday or the day before?
Well, not much for her, but me. It didn't really happen to her.
Yeah, but they did say some ugly things, so we're going to hit it out. Okay, guys. So there's another podcaster that on YouTube goes around on YouTube they're anonymous. They do not show their face ever. They do not put their name out there and their business out there, but they have taken it upon themselves to pull up Jay's not his charges. They didn't even really pull up the charges necessarily, but go and delve into his past to harass and bully him. But here's the thing that really bothered me about it, and I want you all to be very aware. This particular podcaster decided to take it on a very personal level, and then they turned around and they were talking about the court case that Jay had with Jay Lee, his sister. Now, Jay Lee was very manipulated by some other people that wanted to take over the whole network and the whole channel and all the hard work that was put in to this very podcast. One of those people is actually on the registry themselves for very significant, and I say this very, very, very significant charges that lasted for almost a decade. Okay, and in Jay's alleged crime, and I say alleged, he bought a laptop and there was already stuff on the laptop, and they used that to try and make his case worse. That had nothing to do with anything else. And here's the problem that I have with this. Even Walter Cronkite and Barbara Walters, who are very, very big notable figures in our history as journalists, walked into prisons, did interviews with prisoners that were obviously convicted of crimes, and wanted to hear their side of the story. I don't think it's really fair for these vigilante podcasters to come on social media, start pouncing on an inmate or former inmate that's got their life together, renewing their life, and has a family, to go on there and do these personal attacks, put their address out there, put the vehicle that they drive, and then people are getting unalived over stuff like this. And this guy didn't even have all his facts straight. He doesn't know the whole side of the story. He knew that the case was dismissed, but he didn't know why. He just assumes that Jay Lee's still trying to get the rights to the show, and that is not the case.
Right.
And y'all will see that sooner or later when Jay Lee does come up on the podcast again. Y'all will see that when we get to that point. But they have made peace with each other and figured out who the real culprits were in this. So I just, FYI, guys, in this space, in this time, and all the social medias, we're going to continue.
17 people.
We are going to continue to support each other and move forward and do what we've been doing, which is advocating, educating, and helping others. Because not everybody that went to prison did the crime that they ended up
Absolutely.
time for. So, I mean, I encourage all you new advocates or advocates that want to go around anonymously, get all your facts. Get your facts.
Yeah.
Get your facts
Thank
together
you.
before you go slinging mud.
Thank you, Tammy, for all that information. I appreciate it. And again, we got to be vigilant. We got to do our due diligence over here to stop the bullies, stop the cyberbullying, and stop the harassment that's going on. Because again, it doesn't help anybody, and it causes other issues. And we'll do more about that later. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, this show is dedicated to my wife tonight because of what all she has. So if you guys have questions, comments, concerns, and whatnot for my wife, here's your shot. Here's your chance to ask. And go from there. So, Tam, I understand you have some questions for Wendy, so go ahead, fire away.
Well, kind of one of the things I was wanting to know, if you could kind of give a brief, like from the, I know for me personally, like my anxiety, my fears, my anger, my depression, everything that came with all of that, from the moment of charges to him actually going to prison. Like, can you kind of run a little bit of your side of the fence? We know what happened to Jay. We'd like to hear, like, a little bit of your perspective of what, why y'all are still here. What drove it.
Welcome, boss lady.
Hi, welcome, boss lady. It's hard to go back to 2009, but because so much has happened. The only way that I can sum it up is it's like a death, but they're not dead. They're still alive. And you just can't, the only way you can communicate is over the phone, letters, you know what I mean? But it's, you go through like a grieving. At least that's how I felt.
Yeah.
I agree with you. Totally.
I had, I had two little, I call them my tater tots. I had a 3 and a 2 and a 4-year-old at the time, and all I know is dad went, all they know is dad went to work. Dad didn't come home, and it was just like a death, a loss. But yet,
and this
he was
is
still
the thing
alive.
that they don't see, like that. I don't think the juries or the judges or people out in the free world, I think they just, we were almost, I feel like, and I don't know, maybe you have the perspective on this, but I feel like we're almost brainwashed to believe that everybody in prison is a bad person. When we're
exactly
little,
that's the image.
Yeah,
that's the image, but that's not even the case.
It's
like I said,
close. Yeah.
A lot of it's just, a body and you're a number,
Bank account number.
Cops don't care. They just, they want to arrest someone.
And how do you feel like in the investigative side when he was charged, and then do you feel like, how did you feel with, you had a public defender, didn't you, Jay? Public pretender?
Yeah, I had 2 of them.
Yeah, that didn't do nothing.
And what were your steps? I mean, were they kind of just blowing you off, or did they even communicate with you?
They could have tried a lot harder, but they didn't. They went off of family statements that we weren't even really family with. They were more like enemies at the time.
Yeah. They didn't do any of the work that they were paid to do. Like, for instance, something simple as getting my cell phone records. They couldn't even get that.
Yeah, to do a pin drop location, see where you actually were at the time of the supposed crime.
Yep.
Because if any of that had have panned out, they would have had to dismiss your case.
Oh, it would have been over.
Oh yeah,
it would have been totally dropped and flipped, because that's kind of the hard pressed thing too. How did you feel when Jay took the plea?
Yeah. Good question.
Well, he was misleaded with that anyway. They said that, if he took a plea that he could come home and be with his wife and his kids and he could have his life back. And that's not the way that it went at all. So
thank you, Orphan, for that. That's absolutely true too. Thank you so much, Orphan. Texas Mom has a question for you. And here's her question for you, Wendy. How did you handle all the hate and the backlash while you were out here holding things down? Wow, great question. Thank you, Texas Mom.
There was a lot of negativity,
especially from family.
Especially from family, and close friends, 'cause, and then you got your own thoughts, in your mind, what if he did do that, or what if he is like that, or, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you got your own mind, making you think one way, but I got to the point where I just didn't care, You
did, but you didn't.
Yeah, I did, but I didn't.
Did you cut people off, or how did you, when they would try and tell you stuff I'm sure that there were people telling you to leave Jay at some point.
Oh yeah.
How did you handle that?
How do you handle that?
Just, that's your opinion. You don't live my life. You're not in my shoes. And if I'm going to leave him, it will be because of my own decision. Not anyone else telling me what to do. So
Yeah, I think because it's hard, because when you're with somebody like that, like, as long as y'all have known each other, not just
yeah,
as an intimate partner, but also as your rock, your other half, it's so hard to, you don't want to let those bad thoughts creep in just because people are whispering in your ear, so to speak, and then it just keeps replaying in your mind, what could we have done different, what avenue can I go down now? I mean, I know that was for
yes.
me, but, and still is sometimes. I'm like, how do I get people to listen to the truth? Why
Hmm.
won't anybody listen to the truth? What is so hard about it?
But then you get to a point where you don't care if they believe you or not, because it's not your life. It's not their life. You know what I mean? It's your life. And I guess I'm just hard headed, you know.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
going
that
to
way
do,
too.
I'm going to do what I want to do, regardless of what anybody tells me what they want me to do.
Yeah. Well, you're stubborn in your own right. Not to say stubborn as a
Yeah.
negativity
Yeah.
term. What I'm saying is you're stubborn in your own right because you're independent.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't need somebody else to be in your ear telling you how to live or run your life.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it boils down to.
Well, what were
All
the
right.
kids? What were they like? Like, what? I mean, I know you said they were really young, like 4-ish and 4 to 5-ish, and then 2.
Well,
Almost 2.
our daughter was, we were, well, at the time we were getting her tested for autism. And so I had to deal with all that by myself, because he was, locked up. And when she'd have her meltdowns, she would cry and kick the walls and, where's daddy? Where's my daddy? And then our son would, he'd look out the window and look at, when's daddy coming home from work? And I think that's the part that tore me up the most, was the kids, not knowing where their dad's at. And I just had to tell them, dad's going to be gone for a little bit, he'll be home. You can talk to him on the phone,
That was
That
was very hard for me.
But I was always honest, with them, and never didn't hide anything. But like I said, I never took him to the prison though, just because I didn't want to do that.
Yeah.
And I can understand that, because I would have been
Yeah.
that way too about, do I put my kids through that? I'm already nervous. I haven't gone to see my husband yet. We haven't had a visit. We're still waiting for them to process stuff so I can visit him. And I'm nervous about it, because I'm the type that I'm the nicest person you'll ever meet. But the first time you hurt somebody that I love, it's a whole different ball of wax at that
Yep.
point.
That's her
Yep.
and me in a sense.
Yeah. I mean, people can talk crap about me, whatever, but when
exactly.
it comes to my kids or my husband,
When you start saying their names or getting them
Yeah.
involved, that's a different story.
yeah,
Yeah. And that's me and Rick. We're the same way. And
especially my kids.
so when he came home, were there adjustments? How did that throw the whole
It was
lifestyle of?
it was kind of weird because I was so independent for so long, me and the kids, that I mean, I missed him being home, but at the same time I couldn't relax when he was home, because I was so used to doing it all on my own.
And every little thing you did probably irritated you, right?
Yes, yep.
I see him.
But once he got home, once he got home, and I got used to him being home and whatnot,
But it was nice.
Yeah.
It was nice to be home.
It's good now, so. But that's with anything in life, you got to adjust.
Yeah, of course. I mean, that must have been a really fun, not
Yeah.
that smart assy, but fun time.
Yep.
the roles. It reminds me of a military
Right.
family. The one spouse will be gone, and then when they come home, they want to jump right in, and you've been toting that line. You're like, no, wait, back up. That's my space. I'm the boss here, kind of. But
Texas Mom, thank you, Tammy. I appreciate you. Texas Mom said, "How long was he gone?" That would be me.
You were gone 18 months, and then you were on, I think, probation
2 years.
for 3 years, two years.
So in hindsight, Texas Mom, to answer the question.
So he didn't live at home for...
I did 18 months fighting my good name in an actual county jail. And then I did another 2 or 3 months in an actual prison setting. And then I got released from there and then 2 years on probation.
Yeah. So he wasn't home for about 3 years.
so when you came out, you had to go to a halfway house? Is that
I did.
basically?
Yep.
And how was that environment, Jay?
Oh, it was nerve-wracking knowing that I'm free and home and I can't, go home to my family. I had to live with somebody else's family.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? That's the part that really was nerve-wracking. And boy, that was emotional watching her drive off after she dropped me off because I had nothing but the clothes on my back or what she sent me. And I had to try to make, make a living or a life, if you will, in this halfway house until that changed, until I got off probation.
Mm-hmm.
And then Orphan asked, can't you get an expungement, Jay?
Let me see where that...
It was almost like we were dating again. You know what I mean? When you first start dating somebody, you don't live together.
You're like, wait a minute.
Can't you get an expungement, Jay? I probably could. I got to look into a few things. The situation with me is almost over anyways. 2025 is when things are going to change anyway. So it's soon to be 2025. So in November of 2025, things will be changed or different. So just keep your fingers crossed. I got some things in the works.
Yeah, I hope so too. I'm gonna help push and do whatever I can do on my end too. Letters and all that. We're gonna get behind it and push it.
Texas Mom said this, honey. She goes, "That's one of my fears is adjusting after 8 years of living alone." Yeah, because you get so used to becoming independent that you can see and feel that you don't really need anybody else in your life to take care of you or be there for you. And it is a major adjustment. But we adjusted and we're kicking now and doing really well.
Well, this is a weird thing too, because like that's something that Rick and I were talking about. There's something small as putting... My husband would sit next to me and he put his arm out and I knew instantly he wanted me to put my hand in his hand for him just to hold my hand. Something so simple that you think would not matters so much more now than it ever did, you know? And so what did you guys do to keep not exactly intimate? I don't want to get into that part of it, but keep that part of your marriage, the love, the wanting to be together but not being able to. How did y'all?
Well, all I can say is, nothing's perfect. I don't care how long you've been married, whatever. You're going to have your ups and downs. And to me, it's just the way I look at it. It's all on what you put into it. How much you love that person, how much you're willing to, what is it, like sacrifice or...
Yeah, I think for us, again, like everything else,
and we were best friends.
That's
prior, and I think that's a lot of it as well.
I was just going to say that because you got to keep in mind, Tammy, everybody in the chat that's watching, and thank you guys so much for being here. Please put your comments and questions and whatnot in the comment section to ask her how she coped during her incarceration. But to answer that, I think like everything else, you have to adjust and get back into the swing of things. It just doesn't happen overnight.
Yeah, it's a process.
And I'm not saying the trust wasn't there. It's just being absent kind of makes you feel like you were, like she said earlier, kind of like a death in a sense, or somebody's not there anymore. And then you got somebody in your life that wants to be intimate, and it's rough, if that makes sense.
Yeah, Texas Mom has a question for her,
Mm-hmm.
for Wendy. She says, do
She,
you feel like y'all are stronger after going through this very difficult time?
yeah.
Definitely. I feel
Thank you, Texas Mom.
that we've been through so much. This February will be 21 years married. And I feel that we have been through so much together that anything could be thrown at us,
and we're still here.
and we're going to get right through it. There's nothing else that I think that could happen.
Well,
I mean, there could, but you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like a
but
But
death
it's
or
not
whatever.
going
But
to, because we're going to speak into existence that you guys
yeah,
are good.
yeah.
Well,
I
no
mean,
more- what I'm
no
saying,
more
though-
stuff happening. We're done with all the
right.
fun.
Yeah.
What I'm saying though is that with everything that has been shoved down her throat, literally in a sense,
Mhm.
when it comes to everybody, including loved ones that supposed to love and respect her as a whole, including my side of the family that's supposed to love and respect all of us as a whole. There's always even family and friends trying to tear this apart. And
and a lot of it's jealousy.
Yeah, and a lot, and I'll admit,
Jealousy.
she's the super glue that kept everything going.
Yeah, negativity.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, because that's something, you know what? I realize that.
What is that saying? Misery loves company.
Yep.
Yeah,
There you
because
go.
they're so miserable, they want to bring
Mhm.
people into their fold. They don't want, they don't understand the complexities and how people can love each other in this type of situation. Having one incarcerated, the other one out free, because not only are you supporting them emotionally, let's get into the bones of it. Economically, how did you do it?
Like financially?
Financially, yeah, absolutely. Raising 2 kids by yourself, having to pay commissary, phone calls, all that's expensive.
Oh yeah. Yep.
She put all the money on the books for me. If it wasn't for her, I'd starve.
Yep. Phone calls, money on the books,
Commissary
visits. My kids were little, so I had either a family member would watch the kids, or I'd have to pay for sitters. The gas money. Everything costs something.
Yeah, I mean, I can't even imagine, because I know even like right now, I'm strapped all the time because I'm having to send them this or having to send them that. I have to get this or that stuff with ongoing trying to fight the case. The money it costs me for legal stuff.
Yep.
I can't even imagine how I'd be able to do it with kids. We'd have to do without commissary, and the phone calls would be cut in half for sure.
Oh yeah. There were times where he got spoiled and he'd call me about 3, 4, 5 times a day. And it was annoying at times, but
yeah, I know.
And I have an answer for.
Okay, what
I have an
I
answer
avoid
for.
putting off? What bill can I push to the side so I can take these phone calls or buy a commissary?
Yeah. I have an answer for that. And it's because that was my first time ever being incarcerated, so I didn't know how to act.
Yeah,
I was a newbie.
He was homesick really bad.
I was missing my family.
Yep.
That's Rick. He's never been either, and I know Texas Mom, her hubby has never been in. We have a lot of first timers in our group that went through the same thing, so it's kind of interesting.
Wow.
Yeah. All right. Well, is there anybody else in the comment section that has any questions for the wife? Please fire away. Here's your chance. Again, prison wife, former prison wife, not no more technically. And she's here to kind of give you guys some inspiration to carry on and plug on and don't give up the fight. Orphan Annie said this: the cost of living has skyrocketed.
Yeah.
Absolutely. In the last few years, from food to rent, and makes me think the system wants us to suffer. They don't want, again, you're right, Orphan Annie, the government as a whole does not want us to have any control. They want control of us. Always remember that. Texas got in here and said this: do you have any advice for loved ones just starting this journey? Go ahead.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. Thank you, Texas
I guess it
Mom.
all depends on how long you've been with the person.
That helps.
What's your backstory, basically? I guess what you want to put into it. I guess. I mean,
I think, to be totally honest with what she's trying to say, is that knowing this person helps. We've known each other since 7th grade. She knew my character before I fell.
yeah, and that helps
So-
too. If you know someone's who they really are, and you know that they would never do such a thing like that, you know, and you know,
Yeah.
you just know. You know, it's not them.
Yeah, absolutely. Tammy, do you have any more questions?
Vicky wrote something, and then I've got a couple of things I want to ask.
Vicky said this. Let's see. You are a strong woman, and hat goes off to you sticking in there with him, because a lot of women would not have that. Makes you a special person in my eyes. Love and peace.
Yes, and I hear that quite often.
Thank you, Vicky.
A lot of people would have said, you know, for instance, even my grandparents, you know, my grandpa had his personal opinion about the whole thing, but towards the end, he said that he was so glad that I stuck by my husband and we made things work. So,
Yeah. And he even said that on his deathbed.
yep,
too.
he said that shortly before he passed.
Did you? I know that Jay said that when he was in there, God was a big presence in his life and helped him get through a lot. How was it for you in that perspective? Did spirituality get you through rough times, or how did you deal with that?
I just knew that, you know, things were going to be, you know, you just keep your faith and, you know, things will be the way that they're meant to be, you know. And I mean, yeah, you know, there was a lot of tears, a lot of, you know, a lot of sadness, a lot of,
and you had support,
anger, you know.
Yeah. She had support with some people that were there for her, not being negative.
Yeah.
That's good. And mostly friends or family or a mix, or
a little bit of both.
A neighbor would.
Good.
You know, your neighbor was more supportive than your own family.
Yeah.
But
well,
yeah,
like
absolutely.
now, how do you feel now? What is your take? Give me your take on the registry itself. How do you feel about it?
I feel that, you know, if there's evidence, you know, and you've actually hurt a child, you know, or whatever, you know, then yes, you should be on the register. You know, you should be punished for that. But if it's something, I don't know, stupid, you know, like what, people urinating in the street, and, you know,
something that doesn't do with kids.
Well, let me ask you this. What if the person was convicted, but they didn't do anything, they didn't have any proof, and now they're stuck on this registry the rest of their life?
Yeah.
I don't think they should be on the registry. I think that
how do we how do we cross that bridge so that we can make the public safe, but people not be targets of vigilantes and their family that they're attached to? Because every person has a family somewhere, and they start going after you. You've seen it yourself firsthand over and over again. So how can we, maybe I need to say this a better way. Let me just say it the way I always do. I mean, I know you've watched some of the podcasts, but maybe not all of them. Okay, I think the registry needs to go bye-bye because it's not serving the purpose and not being utilized in a way, in a manner that both keeps the public safe, but also keeps people from committing criminal acts to go after other people. And then we end up with people that are on there, supposed to be on there, running off because they can't find housing, a job, or they're tortured and harassed all the time that they go into hiding and then they recommit offenses because we don't have them out in the open where we can see what's going on. I think it's kind of counterproductive, I guess is what I'm saying. I think that it should be something that's only used not publicly, but conjointly among law enforcement and parole offices. I don't think it's something that needs to be displayed for the rest of the world to see because we're putting
Exactly. It should
danger.
be, should be private.
So in a sense,
But
it should be
nowadays,
balanced, but
everything's
it's not
online.
balanced. Right. Everything's online and everything is done through,
Social
internet
media,
stuff
yep.
now, and everybody uses that as a crutch to be a tough guy. But underneath all the bull crap, you're not tough. You're hiding behind your camera. You're behind your keyboard, trying to act tough.
And
That's
you
not
don't really
tough.
know the whole story. You don't know if this
They put their own
person
spin and narrative to it. Yeah.
Well, I can give a little synopsis, and then Texas Mom wrote something. If you'll leave it up there for a minute. A friend of mine from childhood, in her neighborhood, there's a female SO that's on the registry. And so her and another neighbor decide to go over to this woman's house and ask her, her side of the story, so to speak, because they wanted to know, because my friend's a prison advocate. This is in Mississippi. Well, what the story is and what she dug and confirmed that really is what happened. This lady went to the bar and met this guy at the bar. He was underage. He was drinking alcohol in the bar. They end up going back to his place and having intimacy together.
Wow.
And then turn around, the mother of the guy shows up and then gets charges pressed on this woman, and she goes to prison, and then she ends up on the registry for the rest of her life because he was in a bar underage in a place where drinking alcohol as if he was an adult.
Yeah.
And now
I have a friend
her
that's
life is ruined, and people will go around and be ugly. So how do we stop?
Because they don't know the whole story.
Exactly.
Yeah, they're just judgmental. A lot of people are judgmental.
Okay, Texas Mom wrote something there. You want to read it, Jay?
Sure. I hope you guys can hear me. She goes, Texas Mom says, I really appreciate you coming on and sharing your story. I feel loved ones go unheard. Plus, everything they sacrifice unnoticed at times because we're kind of just expected to do it.
Yep.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Texas Mom.
That's true.
And then she had another one. She said, I feel the reg I feel is very dangerous and should not be public record.
Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah, because it's like a domino effect. It it affects the whole family.
Well, that, and they use that information as a tool for the vigilantes.
Yeah, and that's my real problem. What are we gonna do? We're gonna all grab up our pitchforks, some rope, and our garlic around our neck and our silver bullets, and we're gonna go as a whole town, and we're gonna chase this person out to the town square, find the biggest tree, and put the noose around. I mean, that is so stupid.
Yeah. It's getting worse. Orphan, it's getting worse.
It is.
You're correct, Orphan. So we're almost getting at the top of the hour. It's half hour in. But we got 22 people in here watching. Thank you guys so much for being here. I appreciate you guys. Real quick, again, everybody in the chat, you know who you are. Any more questions for the wife, please feel and have at it and fire away. And hopefully this information tonight that she's answering these questions with will be helpful or beneficial with you guys in some form or fashion.
Well, I'm gonna ask the question. It's kind of like an elephant in the room, so I'm gonna ask it. I mean, I don't know if Jay Lee watches this or not, but through all this crap and drama that went on with Jay Lee, Rita, what's her name? I can't remember the other lady's name, the one that's actually on there. Sammy. Well, when all of that was going on, I don't know how many times I had to talk Jay off the ledge. But I told him at the very beginning, I just want your take on it, that they were manipulating Jay Lee. And how do you feel about Jay Lee at this point, as far as Jay Lee was in the prime spot to be manipulated, being in there since 93. You know, how did... Or 94. That's right. A year after my daughter's. That's 29 years Jay Lee's been in here.
Like what my opinion of it is?
Well, how did you feel at that point? Did you want Jay to quit with the podcast, or did you? I mean, what was your? How did you feel? What was going through your head?
Well, a lot of it I predicted before it happened.
Yeah.
Just because
So weird.
I usually can read people pretty well. And I read her. I knew it from the minute I met her.
Rita.
That she was out for herself. Just, you know, you just know, I don't want to say because I'm a bitch so I can see another bitch, but basically, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Sandy was something else too. That was a nightmare.
Bert said, "Tell your kids I said hi."
Yeah,
we will do that, Bert. So it's been a mess, but the good news is, though, with that being said, Tammy, the good news is me and my sister now are basically trying to rekindle our relationship. And again, I'm giving her, second, third chance to try to be the sister that I need or want, however you want to look at it, and vice versa. So, I mean, I'm willing to, let my walls down again and let bygones be bygones if she doesn't burn me again. Because, again, if she burns me one more time, that's it.
Yeah. And you have to understand where she's at, too. You know what I mean?
It's all prison mentality.
It's all mentally, like I said, she's still stuck in 94.
Yep.
Yeah, and the thing is about that, too, is that they don't really give them the rehabilitation, the counseling, the therapy. I mean...
Therapy.
Yeah.
Honestly, Jay Lee needs
no therapy.
needs the therapy and the rehabilitation end of it, because I really feel like Jay Lee will come out soon because of some of the other cases, and I hope, I know it's scary on the other flip side of that, considering all the family drama that went on and all the stuff, but I think that with the right tools and the right help and the right people in Jay Lee's life, that she can come out and have a semblance of it. But it is going to be a very big culture shock. A lot is changed.
Oh, yeah.
Because again, mentally, she thinks it's still 1994. So she's going to be she's going to go into the world when she gets released and thinking that it's still
not understand a lot of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. And she trusts everybody.
That's the problem with her.
And that's a lot of it too.
She trusts everybody.
Because, in the 90s, things were different. People were not.
You can't trust
people
everybody.
Changed over the years.
You got to kind of work your way up into that.
Yeah, everybody's kind of like an egomaniac now. That's what I think.
Yeah, it's like it's even hard to make friends nowadays. People are like scared to get to know you.
Well, it's all about me now.
Yeah.
Screw everybody else. It's all about
fame. We live in a fake world. We're like living a Sims reality.
Yep.
Like a Sims game in reality.
That's
how everybody lives.
And everybody's so hung up on who has what.
Oh, keeping up with the Joneses.
Yeah. Oh, I got to have the biggest house, the biggest car. It's like, whatever. Can't you just be happy with what you got?
Texas Mom said, thank you for everyone for being here. Absolutely, aww. Texas Mom. I'm glad you guys appreciate the podcast. And again, who knows? She might come back up later, in the near future. So keep her in your prayers if you can. She's doing.
This is crazy.
Yeah, she's doing really well. To be honest with you, when it comes to taking care of the family and whatnot, even with my hiccups and downfalls, we are doing what we can to survive, and we're going to overcome this. We have overcome it. She's overcome it, and we're going to prove whatever we have to, and let you all know that there is light at the end of that tunnel.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Here you go, Cynthia.
Cynthia said, much love and respect to you, Wendy, for sticking by his side and sharing your story with us.
Thank you.
Cynthia. Thank you, Cynthia. Much love and respect to you. She said, Orphan Annie said for Tammy, who's our co-host, truth to Tam, when it comes down to it, I do not think anyone's crime should be plastered over the public so just anyone can see it. Yeah, I agree.
I agree. Yep.
It should be reserved for law enforcement and court purposes only. I agree. Absolutely.
Correct.
Orphan.
Correct.
And there's a reason why that happened like that. Baby, I'm broke and drive a 20-year-old car, but I love it over here, the simple life. Yeah.
See, that's how I am.
That's how we are.
I don't, even if I was a millionaire, I'd still probably drive a Chevy truck, or I don't know. I don't have to have everything new.
Need everything to be glorified.
Yeah, that's just not me. I've never been materialistic.
Does anybody have any questions for me?
How do you keep yourself from not being in the doghouse all the time?
I'm not saying nothing.
Oh yeah. Oh, he has his moments.
I'm not gonna.
The boss lady steps in.
Yeah, no. The boss is in the house. I gotta mind my P's and Q's.
No, I've trained him very well. Like I train him very well because when I'll call him up, just to see what he's doing, he'll go, "Yes, dear." Yeah, I do. So he always says, "Yes, dear," because he knows.
Because I know if I'm out of line, I'll get chewed out.
You surrender already.
No, it's pretty much a team effort.
No,
Orphan Annie said, "Successfully do your time." Yeah, absolutely.
Yep,
I did, and I paid my dues, paid everything.
Yeah, and you shouldn't be punished forever. Yep.
This punishment shouldn't be 24/7.
Nope.
But we're working on some things, and things are going to get changed here, hopefully in the near future. So stick around for that.
That's one thing. Okay, so Jay and I were talking about this other night, and I think this is, I don't know, I get these epiphanies, and I think he should be writing them down so that when I have my Alzheimer moments, we'll remember what the hell I said. But we were talking the other night, and I said, I think what we need to do, folks, is we need to all get our little research out when we're just sitting somewhere waiting on a doctor's visit or something like that. I think we need to start doing researches over people who have I saw it. I can't help it.
Yes,
Mom.
Who have been injured, unalived, or family members injured or unalived due to vigilantes who have used the registry as a tool to injure or unalive people, and we need to start getting those folks to write their stories. And we need to go to our state capitals, and we need to start raising hell for the freedom to get rid of this godforsaken registry the way it is set up currently. I do not think that it should be set up the way it is right now.
No. And Tammy, let me ask you, you know why it's set up that way, don't you?
Go ahead, Jay. Go ahead.
The reason why it was set up that way, and this is for everybody, not just for you, Tammy, as a whole. The reason why it was set up that way is because one person, I can't remember if it was a male or a female, complained and saying that, hey, and she had tears in her eyes because she brought emotion to the mix, if you guys remember. So this person went into the law offices and got that changed so the public can be access to it too. And that's why it's public. Because at first it wasn't. Orphan Annie said this: obtaining records is a big business. Yep, there's money in that too. When you pay for background checks, it's sick and twisted. Absolutely. Correct.
It sure is. Because you know what's funny? That brings up another point. So all these corporations that hire not just felons, but prisoners work for them while they're in prison have no problem knowing full well that they've committed crimes, and they'll hire them while they're in prison. But all of a sudden, it's a big issue when they get out. So they can kiss my, because that's what it's about, the money. It's about using slavery. It is modern day slavery, extension of everything this corrupt nation was founded on.
And that's thanks to the 13th Amendment and other factors. Yeah, right. Absolutely, Tammy.
Everything was to benefit the wealthy. When everything was written, it was all to benefit their state and their families and their heritage and their bloodlines to continue. Remember, we had indigenous people here. My great grandmother was a full-blooded Cherokee Indian princess. So let me just say this: they RA'd and SA'd my people a long time ago. That's what this country was founded on, is that we took the lives away and we enslaved them, captured them, stole all their stuff. This country was founded on crime.
Bert said, he said this, Jay, how long have you known each other? I've known her since 7th grade, just for the record. And we never dated, like relationship status wise, but we became best friends. And we're still best friends today, despite our marriage.
And how old are you, Jay? Go ahead.
I'm 50.
So there you go, Bert. Do the math.
Yeah, he's 50.
And
he's old. No, I'm just joking. I just turned 49 in July?
July.
So I'm right behind him.
Orphan said, no wonder people go back to offending. Yep, because they basically set us up for failure. They set us up for failure. And the trolls and the haters help setting us up.
We're paying the karma for the people that founded this country. Because they came over here and they committed bad acts. And they did all the things they did. Look at the Salem witch trials. We could pull up so many events in the history of America that just goes, corruption.
Wow.
More corruption, you know.
Do I really look 40? Orphan, thank you, Orphan. She said, Jay, you only look 40. Really?
Now,
I don't
Orphan,
look 50?
Now, Orphan, you see what you did? Do you see what you did now?
My head's getting big.
Put up with his ego.
No, but my body acts 50.
Thank you, guys.
Been working your whole life.
I thought it was 4 years ago. No, it was. I've known her since.
No, I think he's talking about how long you met him.
Oh, I thought he was talking about me and you.
No, I don't think so.
Oh, I must have misunderstood your question there, Bert. I don't know if you were talking about our relationship or our friendship or what, but I don't know.
Yeah, he just turned 50.
If you're talking about me and you, right. If we were talking about me and you, Bert, I've known you for what?
4 years.
4 years, give or take some. I hope I answered your question. Sorry if I got it confused. Texas Mom said, I would have never thought you were 50. Oh, wow. Stop it, you guys. Thank you, though. I appreciate it. They set up most on, that's correct, Bert. Absolutely.
It's another form of tracking people.
Yes. Well, that and
applying
how do I put it?
To revenge.
Yeah.
They do what they call entrapment things too. I'll get more on that later in another video.
Yeah.
Let's see.
I do need to pop his head like a zit.
His head is pushing Wendy out of the screen, boss lady. Pop his head. Wow, Texas Mom, I can feel love tonight.
Pop it like a zit.
Oh my gosh, you guys. All right, I love you guys. I really do.
I like to bop it when he shaves his head.
She bops it. Yeah, I shave my head. I don't have any hair.
So I'll sit there and I'll bop it.
Orphan Amy said, I think floods and fires going on are weather manipulation wars with advanced tech. Yeah, I agree. I can see that. Cynthia said, I know you said it made you stronger, but was there anything negative that came from it? That was for you, I'm assuming. Her son's in prison.
Just how the system works and how, you guys were talking earlier about how they don't really care about the families. Mm-hmm. It's all they want is a number, a body, and
yeah,
a lot of heartache.
Did the kids have a lot of behavioral problems while he was in?
Just at home, when, they would miss them or they'd have their little moments. But in school and whatnot, they did great.
That's good.
They were troopers. Yep. Yep. And I tried to keep everything normal, the best that I could. Keep them busy. We always kept busy.
Yeah, that's a good thing to keep them busy when they're growing up, get them involved in things, and
Yep. We
that
always
way
kept
they
busy.
have
I
less time
I
to.
tried to stay busy. Like when they were at school, I'd go do Zumba or, I would do something
Keep
for
yourself
me.
occupied.
Yeah.
Wendy time.
That's
Because I
good.
didn't want to just sit at home and cry all day.
But you did have issues with meltdowns.
That's what I said.
A
Yeah.
lot of meltdowns.
And that was
the
before she
meltdowns,
got diagnosed.
right. And I was
Yeah.
going to say, if I can, the meltdowns were happening when she didn't know what was causing it until she got diagnosed what
Yeah.
the problem was. And around that age, of course, it's kind of changed now as she's gotten older, because I don't think she really technically even has
She
meltdowns anymore.
don't have any
But
meltdowns.
during
No.
toddler stage ages
Oh,
and
yeah.
whatnot, she was going through a lot of meltdowns. And it was really stressed and hard on her. And I felt bad because I wasn't there.
Yeah.
That, as a dad, of course, you guys hear the stories. There's a lot of deadbeat dads out there and this and that and blah, blah, blah. I wanted anything more to be a dad.
Mm-hmm.
Our marriage or having kids was planned.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't a mistake. And the part that hurt me the most is that I'm sitting in a county jail for crimes I never committed, taking my chances away of being a father that I wanted to be.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is, even though I lost, toddler stages of their life, I'm making up what I lost now.
Yeah.
And nobody can take that from me.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Texas
And
mom
many people have tried.
has a question there.
Texas mom said this: Did you tell the kids the truth or just let them think dad was working?
I think the first few weeks I made them think he was working just because I was still in denial myself.
Well,
And then once, me and the kids, we sat down and I just told them, I was always open and honest about where their dad was, or we'd drive by the jail and I'd say, you guys, daddy's up there, and they'd wave, hi, daddy, and stuff like that, I didn't hide it from them.
Orphan Annie said this for you guys: private prisons make money by charging the government more per inmate than it costs to house them.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. Roughly cost $100 per day to house an inmate. Facts. A private prison might charge the government more. Yeah, and that price tag can go up. It will never go down. And last time you guys remember, I did a show. The amount this year, 2024's budget, was $182 billion.
Mm-hmm.
That's with a B, coming into the system of our tax dollars. So do the math.
And this is the funny thing is, like in Texas, we have a surplus budget.
Yeah.
We
$150 a day.
our guys and gals and children that are in prison in Texas, who are being abused, by the way, severely abused, children. I'll say that again. They work them out in the fields doing crops.
Wow.
Yeah. And they take and they make the license plates like they do in a lot of the other ones.
They still do that. They still do that.
Yep, they still do that, and they do make shoes for commissary for other states. They make all the cups and the bowls and the spoons and
how much they get paid an hour?
We sell.
How much do they get paid an hour, Tim?
Zero. They do not pay the inmates in Texas, and it's sickening. Anybody wants to know about that, you can go to the podcast we did on that recently. Are they slaves or are they prisoners? I say slaves. I vote slaves. I say 7 out of every 10 inmates are slaves.
Yeah.
Your punishment is being put in prison. It shouldn't be that you have to work if you're not going to get paid, and you have to do this and you have to do that, or you have to accept the abuse that they dish out.
Yeah, absolutely. Orphan Annie said, yet prisoners eat slop and dress in rags, and then gross. They are forced to buy commissary, which is also bad for you, so they don't starve to death. Yeah, and keep in mind, the food trays, if you guys remember, I did a show on this, the food trays are actually approved by the FDA. the Food Drug Administration.
That's gross.
Kind of like half the
So-
crappy drugs that we take that kill us. Oh, unalive us, man! I'm gotta quit that.
But
Unalive us.
Right.
It's like Big Pharma got to run the prisons too. You know what
right,
I'm saying?
and again,
Like,
and then you
food
wonder
is
why
killing
our
us.
locked up loved ones. Right, and then you wonder why our locked up loved ones reoffend.
Mm-hmm.
You treat them like animals in there, you're going to get an animal.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, absolutely, guys. Spot on. Cynthia
Yeah.
said this. Absolutely, Annie. Yeah, absolutely. We all live in an open air concentration camp. Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly. That's what it is. They don't care.
It's just sad. It's
well-
really sad because we go from getting punished by losing the loved one that gets incarcerated, and then when you go to visit, I've heard how bad they treat the families.
Yeah. Well, everybody, I appreciate every single one of you guys being in here. Actually, we're past the hour now. But anyways, I appreciate you guys being in here. Again, if you have any comments, questions, concerns, you can either put it in here now, I'll get it later, or you can email me right there. voicesfrominsideout@gmail.com is down in the ticker. Again, voicesfrominsideout@gmail.com. If you guys have show ideas, content ideas, or something you want to bring to the table for these shows, please let us know and we'll do that. And hopefully we'll get her back up in here again too eventually in the future, if that's what you guys want. But Tammy, I want to give a shout out to you. Thank you, Tammy, so much for being here and helping out with this podcast.
Well, you're welcome. I it takes all of us. We're a village. We're a family. We're going to keep pushing
Absolutely.
forward doing what we need to do. I'm glad you were here,
Yeah.
Wendy. It was really nice to have you on.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thanks for having me.
No, we
Yeah,
love
thanks.
it. Thank you.
I hope you guys got something out of it. I hope it give you guys some inspiration to keep fighting for your loved one, your husband, your boyfriend, whoever it is in there. Stand true, stand tall, stand proud like she did. She's my rock. She's my foundation. She's the super glue. And I'd be lost without her. And that's real facts. And I appreciate every single one of you guys being in here with that. Again, ladies and gentlemen, comments, questions, concerns, get a hold of me. If not, I'll see you guys this Friday on Men's Night with another epic show. With that said, Tammy, everybody, thank you. Have a great night. God bless. Peace. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Good night, everyone.